Family, this is a continuation of how to handle big money. These two videos has been the foundation of how to handle big money. The next video, I will inform you on what to do with big money. That is the meat and potatoes. Let me give you an illustration between rich people and poor people. I remember one day in Toronto, I was working around Bathurst in the Lawrence area. And that's a Jewish community. And I saw this little young man with his black hat, Jewish kid. And he came and he looked at me and I looked at him. Because for me, I love to talk, so I got to pick his brain. So I said, come here. I said to him, if I want to invest, kid was about 14 years old. I said, what would you recommend me to invest in? He said, my daddy said, buy gold. I want you to think about that for a moment. Train up the child where he or she should grow, that when they get older should not depart. That's a 14-year-old Jewish kid. And he can tell me an adult to buy gold at that age. So this is why you'll have some groups in this world will be way ahead of most. Because they're taught early how to harness and maintain power. We are taught how to work. We're not taught how to invest. We're not taught how to manage money. So as I said, one of capitalism fundamentals is to kill its competition. I'm going to give you another illustration. If you should live in any neighborhood and you'll see a big supermarket or a store comes in, the first thing they do, they will go on a massive marketing campaign. And they will lower the prices, door crashers they call them, and people will just go there and they keep the price low. What they're doing, they're killing their competition. They're cannibalizing their competition. Say for instance, Amazon comes in the neighborhood and you have maybe like mega store or some kind of store. Amazon doesn't worry, Amazon just drop the price and in no time they kill the mega store. And after a while, Amazon will put the price up.
For decades, riding in a taxi stayed the same miserable experience. They were hard to find, expensive, and unpleasant at best, all because competitors were prevented from entering the market. But then Uber and Lyft came along and figured out a way to challenge the local taxicab monopolies. And what happened? Prices dropped, rides became easier to find, and quality went up, way up. This is why competition is fundamentally important. Competition is the only force that consistently leads to lower prices and better quality goods and services, improving our daily lives. If an industry is shielded from competition, then the companies within those industries can keep prices high with little incentive to innovate. But as soon as a new competitor joins the market and does something better, faster, or cheaper, then the other companies can either adapt and compete to stay relevant or not. Either way is a win for consumers. Some businesses will succeed, some will fail. But as long as the market remains open to new competition, then prices will stay low and innovation will continue.
So when I say that the school system have to educate you to look a job, not to become a ruler or owner, it's designed to destroy your mindset early so you not compete with power. For us to change, you have to do what you call a divine psychological break into reverse, that conditioning. And why do I say that? Because when you put things in the formative years, that is why the Bible says, train up the child the way he or she should go, that when they get older should not depart. For once you reinforce the indoctrination early, the child will not break. That is why you have to be careful what you impart on your child in an early age. It doesn't go away.
Which doll is the black doll? And which one is the white doll?
That one.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because he's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me?
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
As you see at the start of the video, when I said that, or when the video illustrated that, the school system is designed by slave masters, warlords, and religious institutions. They are designed to maintain a hierarchy, maintain power, also to miseducate and undereducate us in our formative years.
Now, children are exposed to education if their parents are wise and healthy, i.e. if their parents are wise men and wise women, children get educated. If they're not, they get indoctrinated. There's a big difference. Our education system teaches people what to think, not how to think. If you study the history of our education system, Ken Wilber goes into this quite deeply if you want a resource. Our education system is still the exact system that was developed by warlords and plantation owners to control slaves. It was developed specifically to keep the kids busy so they could get more works out of the slaves and to train the children not to be creative, not to think for themselves, and to follow orders.
The same institutions that enslaved us for 400 years are the same institutions that are teaching us today. Do you think for one moment they're going to educate us to become critical thinkers, wise, and to challenge the status quo? No. Your education that you have is a colonial education, similar to your legal system, that is designed to maintain the status quo.
What is our education doing to us? What have we done to undo the colonial education? I hear right here in Ghana, perfect example. There's not a single Kwame Nkrumah book that is required reading in the Ghanaian educational system. Whose problem is that? Most African countries, our educational system is still the colonial educational system. What do you expect from the leaders that we have today if their education remains colonized? I say the most dangerous person for Africa today is a colonized African. And we must challenge each and every one of us to have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror. Are you colonized?
Like I said, if you're not those like me who disrupt the norm and break the psychological condition and start to see the world from a different perspective, I guarantee you, poverty will be your brothers and poverty will be your sisters. Poverty doesn't need a visa to travel. Poverty takes plane wherever it wants to. Because our mindset and our habits and our way of life are some of the biggest downfall of us. Strange enough, before I did this video, I read an article. It said 70% of the persons who win the lottery, in 3 to 5 years, they end up broke. 70%. Meaning that you have a Joe Blow now acquires Bill Gates' money. Can't manage it. Can't manage it. If you don't have the right mental attitude, the mentorship and the wisdom, money will always elude you. This is why the lottery stand is always packed on the weekends. People buying a ticket to win, and if they win, they end up broke. Money is not the issue. The issue is the lack of knowledge to manage it. As the Bible states, my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
If you notice that 65% of athletes and lotto winners are bankrupt 3 years after leaving the league or winning the lotto, and we look at them and we look at people, oh, you blew it. No, they were the best physical specimen in the world, right? And they competed against millions and millions and millions and millions of people to be somebody that we can value or respect. They weren't taught financial intelligence. There's nothing wrong with what they did. You don't know what you don't know.
One of the reasons why many end up losing their money, I study a bit of psychology, so I have a full understanding. They say every creature will resort to what they know are comfortable with when they're faced with pressure. For instance, if somebody get arrested somewhere and they say, oh, mama, big man in his 40s, mama. He's tapping into his formative years. This is why the police know that if you commit a crime, they don't have to worry. They just kind of stake out at your house or somewhere because they know eventually you'll go back to what you are comfortable with. So now you get big money. And your formative years of inferiority complex and miseducation leads you to the point where you say, oh, well, tell you what, I have to go buy the nice car. I have to go buy the jewelry. I have to help Johnny here. I have to help my sister here. I have to keep giving. No. Poor man's thinking. No. When you make big money, you get the proper advice. The Bible never goes wrong. It says there's safety in the midst of wise counsel. I have 3 persons. One is an attorney, one is a banker, one is a professor who I'm very close friends with. And I have a few more. That when I'm going to make a big move, I throw the ideas at them and I get their practical solutions to make the decision. You can't hang around fools. Can't. It's impossible. If you want to achieve, you can hang around fools. But because we are socialized and are brought up in a certain circle, when we boast, everybody must know that we boast. But we forgot what the Bible says. Do not throw your pearls in front of swines. They will wallow in it like mud because they don't know how to deal with pearls.
Last year, Black America in 2016, we spent $2 billion on Air Jordans, $4 billion on liquor and alcohol, $600 million on fast food, and we bought twice the amount of Mercedes-Benzes as white America, although white America has twice the wealth of black folk. So the question becomes, what is it about the Mercedes-Benz that makes it so attractive to African Americans even when they can barely afford it? And it's because it's a status symbol.
That's all.
And one thing we know about oppressed people, when you can't enjoy true freedom, you surround yourself with the symbols of that freedom.
Absolutely.
And that's why the Louis bag is so important. That's why our children will kill for Air Jordans. It's not the sneaker. It's what it represents. Right. And if I believe I'm worthless, that means I can only add value to myself by what I put on my body as opposed to what I put in it.
So your upbringing, your socialization, and your education are the main reasons why most of us are poor. Show me a company, I'll tell you who you are. Birds of the same feather flock together. If you don't have the right mentorship, you'll never achieve great success. If you don't have the right advice, you'll never maintain money or wealth. It's simple. There's a saying that money can't buy happiness, but can happiness buy food? They say that everything that creates happiness is caused by money. They say the love of money is the root of all evil. But you can also say that the real root of all evil is not having money. So money is not the issue, it's just a tool. It's a tool that we use to trade. The point is that when you make money, you need to use the money to buy the assets so you don't have to keep making money.
Which doll is the black doll? And which one is the white doll?
That one.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.